All right, that shows you how confused I am, which is what this is all about. I just did a 20-minute video that was terrible. Uh, I didn't have the camera set up right. I slurred. I looked at all the wrong places, and I did pretty much all the wrong things. So we'll give it another shot. I have been quiet lately, and that quiet has been because I've been working out stuff inside. Some of it serious, some of it absolutely ludicrous. On the ludicrous side, I am having a very hard time trying to decide whether I'm going to go with Edge or Firefox or Google. And I find that amazing that I find that hard to decide. In my younger days, I could decide to fly down to Gold Beach on the Oregon coast with my buddy Rick and have a beer and come back the next day in about 5 seconds. It was an easy choice. I'd spent closing hour at the Wild Duck Inn and I didn't want to go back there. So when Rick showed up to suggest we go for a coffee or a beer, it was into the plane and off we went. I could decide to be a lighthouse keeper in the time it took to fill out the papers and drive to the Coast Guard to have an interview. Now it takes me weeks to decide which platform to go out on. Same problem with my blog. Do I do it on Blogger? Do I do it in Sway? WordPress is out. It doesn't work on wireless, and I'm in wireless. Can't believe the problem I'm having making those decisions, which is kind of scary. Is this the start of Alzheimer's? I know my mother suffered from the beginnings of Alzheimer's when she was older. So that's something I'm looking at. And back in the day, a long back in a long day, I was named Bringer of the Gentle Wind, or Gentle Breeze. Sort of depended how you translate it. Actually, depending on translation, it could also be Little Fart. The community I lived in had a nasty sense of humor. Well, let's call it sharp. The street I lived on, which was at the, it was the last house at the end of the block, away up on a little hill, out of the village as much as possible and still being in it. And it was in the High language, the beautiful view between the mountains. That was loosely how it was translated. As I say, my name in the High language was Bringer of the Gentle Breeze, or the Gentle Wind. But when you turned it into Low language, it turned into Little Fart living on Big Mouth Street. I like that sense of humor. But aside from the sense of humor, the circumstances that I was living in required of me my best. they expected that I would behave in a way fitting my position and my status in the village. Now, this was a small village on the northwest coast of BC, and at the time there were like 500 people, 600. But they created me, and while many bad things happened, it was still a time when I was the best person I have ever been. And one of the reasons I've been quiet lately is I'm trying to figure out how to return to that person. And it's not easy because at the time it was dependent upon where I was living and how I was living. And that doesn't exist anymore. So I've got to find a way to bring it out of me, because I'm convinced it's still there, but I've let it go to sleep, as it were. I forgot to water the seeds, to mix my metaphors. So I've been confused about that. And I still am, but I'm working on it. You'd think you would, at least I did, that by that time I reached this exalted age of 70 this year in a few more months, that I'd have all this figured out, but I find that I don't. Perhaps I need to return to the simplicity of a child. That's sort of the advice you find in the New Testament. To think, I've never been sure just what that biblical teaching meant, but there is something in the honesty and the simplicity of a child that I have lost. And I shall see if I can find a way to regain it. That would help, I think. Because that's how the village treated me, like a rather large child that needed to be trained up just a bit. Just a bit. Anyway, that's what I've been working on, and I shall continue to work on it as long as I'm able to. But for now, that's all. One day I hope I'll be able to face this silly camera and explain just how and why I succeeded in my quest. We'll see. One never knows. Now I'm looking at the screen because I got to find my mouse, which I did, and I move it over and I got it on a little red button now. So take care, stay smart, stay safe, and do wear a mask. That's all. Bye-bye.